Charlie Munger once said, your first 100K is a real challenge, but you have to get there. I don't care how tough it is, you have to reach your first 100K. And let me tell you something, he wasn't kidding. Reaching your first milestone is very tough, but it is also one of the most important milestones that you should be able to reach. Because once you reach your first 100K, your financial growth will start to take off. After years of effort, I finally made it. I finally reached my first 100K, which is the first milestone in my investing journey. Now looking back, it felt impossible. It was a massive goal, and honestly, I got very much intimidated. But today, we'll share how I made it happen, and we'll talk about what worked for me so that you can do it too. Your first 100K will most likely come from your savings. Yes, that's right. It's from your own contributions, hard work, and effort. Now, for me, it was about 70 to 75% came from my savings and contributions, my blood, sweat, and tears, and the 20 to 25% came from my investment gains. Starting from my $100 investment back in 2019, I consistently added funds to my investment. It doesn't matter how much I'm adding. It can be $1, $5, or $100. What's important is I kept adding and funding my investment consistently. And before anyone says, you can because you have money, I really don't. Like everyone else, I only have my 9 to 5 as a source of my income. And like everyone else, I also have bills to pay. One of the things that helped me get to this milestone is by paying myself first. And no, I didn't mean buying the things that I want. As soon as I get my paycheck, I set aside a portion for my investment and budget with whatever's left. It's a simple strategy and it works. Looking at my taxable account, you can see that 70% of it came from my contributions and the remaining 20% came from the dividends and the gains from my investment. So you can accurately say that most of the heavy lifting came from my consistency. Following the pay yourself first rule helped me build a habit that created the compound effect, allowing me to reach one of my biggest milestones so far. The next step is to find even more free dollar in my budget. And I know it sounds cliche, but I did follow all the steps that have been shared before. Stop buying coffee, stop buying tea, stop buying boba, stop buying dessert. Save 3 to 6 months for your emergency fund, pay your debt, and then stop buying coffee. With all seriousness, I cut back on spending and looked for ways to increase my income and also pay my debt. All these efforts were focused on finding that extra $5 or $10 or even $1 a day to save. It might seem small, but when you stick to it, it adds up quickly. After maximizing my savings, being able to resist or at least delay purchases that aren't necessities is probably one of the hardest things to do. Humans are naturally programmed to want things quickly. This helped our ancestors to survive in tough environments. One trick that I learned before buying anything is to ask myself, how long did I work to make this money? And this is the most important thing. Then I think about whether the item or the thing that I want to buy is worth that time. With all this frugality, I am able to invest, which helped me create another source of income. These are the dividend income that I am receiving and the gains from my investments. Right now, if we look at my portfolio, my top holdings are up by at least 50%, 40%, and another 40%. These are Apple with 50% gain, Microsoft with at least 40% gain, and Berkshire Hathaway with at least 40% gain. I have 83 shares of Apple with a total value of $19,000 and a cost basis of $151. The total dividends that I received from Apple is $165 and the total return is about $6,800. Next is Microsoft. I have a total of 39 shares and a total value of $16,700 with a cost basis of $296. Total dividends is about $219 and the total gains or total return is $5,400. Next is the Berkshire Hathaway with 36 shares with a cost basis of $329. Berkshire Hathaway is not paying dividends, so the total return of the stock is about $4,500. These three stocks make up half of my portfolio. I also have two ETFs. In my taxable account, the tried and true SCHD, and in my retirement account, the GOAT of all ETFs, VOO. The remaining one-third of my portfolio includes Amazon, Alphabet, Realty Income, Visa, and Salesforce. That's a total of 9 stocks. This is way different from the 53 stocks that I held back in 2020. If you've been following for a while, you probably noticed a huge change in my portfolio. Some of the stocks that I held for years have been replaced with different companies. I recently sold Coca-Cola, AbbVie, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, Starbucks, State Street, and UPS. Some of these stocks provided me with good dividends and capital gains. For example, Coca-Cola gave me a total return of $700. Next is AbbVie, gave me a total of $1,300 total return. Next is Johnson & Johnson, gave me $300 in total return. And Starbucks gave me $400 in total return. Of course, I had some losses too. $400 from Pfizer and $500 from UPS. Even though I no longer hold these stocks, they were a big part helping me reach this milestone. Without them, it would have taken me much longer. I'd estimate it would have taken me 3 to 5 years more at my current savings rate. I've never really had a formal education in financial literacy or investing. Since I started back in 2019, I've made it a goal to learn at least one thing every day about investing and finance. So far, the best lesson that I've learned is the small steps I take today are the steps that brings me closer to my goals. Or in investing terms, every dollar I invested back then is the foundation of the milestones that I've reached today. If you want to learn more about investing, feel free to watch this next video. And if you get value in this video, don't forget to subscribe. Let me know in the comments if you already reached your first 100K or if you're on the way to it. And definitely let me know if you already passed it. I hope you have a great day and peace.